Hello! So, been a while, hasn't it? So, yeah, hope everyone's had a nice Christmas. We've been away over the Christmas period, getting general shop bits ready and whatnot and dealing with Christmas ourselves. But I thought I'd get a nice little video done before the new year. Well, it's going to be part of one. And what we're doing is paint up Stardrake. Now, without going to be using a bit of contrast, dry brush, layer painting, the works. And this will be just the first part of painting it. There will be more in the videos, but for those watching live at the moment on Twitch, it's you'll get to see me starting painting it, but as I'm doing YouTube videos each week for painting more and more of the Stardrake, you'll see how the progression goes. So we'll start. So like I say, painting up the Stardrake, that's the wrong one. Paint up a Stardrake. So, I actually got two of these as well. I've got obviously white one there, which has been sprayed with Corax White. And then I also have, where's he gone? Also got a second one, because it's always better to have more than one Stardrake. So that one I've already started doing a little bit of painting to it on the underbelly, and that is with contrast painting so far. That is with a Blood Angels red. Then I'll be doing a darker red on top, then highlighting, but I'll talk more about that one later. For this one though, we're going to be painting up in blues. Then the armour pieces, because this will be one I will be using in shop army, or my army, which will be Stormcast, funny enough. But chest plates will be done a mixture of lead belcher and purples with a Balthasar gold trim. So not sure how much we'll get done this evening, but we'll start off on the top part of the scales and we'll see how we'll go with that. Then from those scales we'll work on the underbelly. We'll do in the armour last. Tackle the face, move on to wings, and then armour will be the last bit we'll be doing. So as I was saying, I'll be doing quite a few of these videos. But we're starting off tonight with doing the scales, top part of the scales. So let's change the angles. You see what trusty cup of tea that. And what goes well. I have a little camera there, Dan, so you can see me there as well. Two different angles. Now I will want to be getting about that close there. Should probably do for the moment. That should probably be a good enough angle there to see what we're doing there. If not, I can always zoom in a bit better, but it should be good actually, a little bit more I think. There you go, I like that. That's a good level there. It's completely zoomed out on the camera that I'm using for YouTube recordings. Centralise that. So, with that then, your cup of tea. So, to be starting off with, the top colour we're going for, we're going to be using Lavardon Blue, and on the underbelly I'm going to be using Ultramarines blue. And because I could do it a very light blue on the underbelly, but I will still be going light. Personal taste, I thought it'd be better if I go a slight shade lighter on the underbelly, then dry brush on top to make it lighter, rather than go light straight away. So that's the plan. You check. Now this will be done with trusty regiment brush from Army Painter. You know, it's always a nice go-to paintbrush. Still a bit stiff, that brush. Don't think I cleaned it out properly last time I used it. Stiff bristles is never a good thing. Now, I've done something a bit special with this first Stardrake. Obviously, I've got the wings taken off there, so it's easier to paint. But one of the things I've also done to make it easier to do is his head is a little bit wobbly. There's a reason for that. So, he says, so I can do that, I can pop it off. That way, when it comes to painting up the head later, I'll be able to do that individually, and it'll be easier to paint all the detail on the actual head and horns. And then it makes it a lot easier with that bit, so now I'm not getting in the way of anything. Also gives me a good starting point right there, just going over there. So what I will do is I'll also get out of that corner. Bring you a bit more around that way actually. So I'm not liking that. Oh, we've actually got someone watching. It's a Mace. Hello, Mace. Mace says Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas, Mace. Mace.
Oh God! Oh, really? You've missed saying that, haven't you? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Merry Xmas. So, where were we? So I've got notifications there. Oh, frame rate detected, drop. Oh dear, never mind, eh? So I was saying, we're going to start off with the, that's the wrong brush. The Viodon Blue on the scales. Now, I've got a rough idea of how I'm going to be painting this up. Obviously, because I've got some paints, but after I've done the first contrast layer, most of it will be a bit of guesswork and just seeing what goes nicely with it. So I'm starting up and just proper loading up the brush, and away we go. But I thought I would do with Viodon Blue so it matches the Stardrake that you can buy from Games Workshop. Obviously that's not to say you can buy a painted Stardrake up from Games Workshop. If you could, well, that would be awesome. It's because the one they show on the box is painted this colour. So I thought I'll paint one up in blue. Then the second one that I've got, I will be painting up in red. Eventually, when I get the money, well, not when I get the money, when I've painted all the other Stormcast, which Mace knows this one, I've got quite a lot of Stormcast still needs painting. I'll buy a third Stardrake Because what's more nastier than 3 Stardrakes?
A nuclear bomb.
A nuclear bomb, according to Matt. Now, with playing Age of Sigmar, we've noticed at times just having 1 Stardrake on its own isn't actually that effective. Especially with my dice rolls. And considering the points cost as well for 1 Stardrake, which is over 400, it's quite a big chunk of your pointage to be using. Especially doing a 2,000 point list, you can fit better things in there. If you just keep, if you only have the 1 Stardrake in. If you're putting more than 1 Stardrake in, then points wise it doesn't really matter. It actually adds up quite nicely with the damage output you can do, or potential, and the point cost. So yeah, as I was saying, having 1 Stardrake hasn't worked that well with me, so that's why I've ended up going for 2 at the moment. Just get in that a little bit there. Yeah, so loving the 2 camera angle deal. Thank you very much, mate. This is using the... How have I ran out of... Oh yeah, because it's watery paint. This is using the camera that... Well, the webcam that comes on the actual laptop. And obviously one of the camcorders. But in the new year, we'll be getting a bit of extra kit. It's just a bit that goes into USB drive from Camlink and an extra HDMI cable, which means we will be able to get both two videos going on at the same time of different angles, one of them not being what I'm looking at. So I do apologise because it looks like our cam link went a bit funny there. So, got it back. But hopefully, when we do get the extra extension, so we've got 2 cameras going, we're not going to have that problem of what just happened of the picture freezing. I don't know what's caused that, but it was a tad annoying. Now, turn around to that angle. I need to figure out painting in that bit, because it's difficult to tell what bits are the scales and which bit is the underbelly, but it looks like most of it is the top scales, and until it gets to the shoulder joint there, just in that bit. Now, I'm being a bit neat, but I'm not worried about being too neat, because the great thing about having paints and contrast is if you go over a bit, it's very thin paint and it's very easy to touch up. When I say easy, I can just touch up. I can, well, I'm using another Corax white. Is it Corax white now? Have they changed it? I've got it in my painting box. I've got, what have I got? I have got a couple of layer paints there. Wraithbone, that's the wrong white. Won't be touching it with Wraithbone, that'll give it a different colour, that will. Ah, Ceramite white, that's the base one. So yeah.
It's Corax now.
Oh yeah, sorry about
You've got his on.
Yeah, well the spray was Corax white, but the layer paint, well not the layer paint, the base paint is Ceramite now, isn't it?
No. It was Ceramite.
Have I got an old white then? Ooh, I best check that, see what it's like then. That's a bit watery there. Have I added bits to this? No, that's still quite watery. Okay, so Ceramite White wasn't the best one to have then. Oh, there we go. I've got Corax White as well. There we go. Just had the wrong paint on me. And both the old and new ones. So, oh, that looks a lot better. Yes. So, as I was saying, Corax White to go over it. Any mistakes I make. Slime brush again. So, there. So at the moment, I've got 2 Stardrakes to paint. And when I get around to it, I'll have a 3rd Stardrake. Eventually I'll get some more Dracothian Guard, I think they're called. You've got your Concussors, your Decimators and Fulminators. They're a very, very good unit to have. Because 5 wounds apiece. A unit or 2. Hitting and wound on 3s generally. They get a good, I think generally about 3 attacks each, apart from the Desolators, because they've got axes. Because they're axes, they hit what's on 2-inch bubble around them. If I'm not mistaken. But then they've got a fire breath as well. Well, it's not called that obviously, but for argument's sake for the moment, fire breath, which is generally a 12-inch range, and that can do quite a bit of damage as well. So generally they're good units to have. But if you get the Dracothian Guard and Stardrakes, there's an actual Battalion War Scroll you can take, and that gives you a nice little bonus buff to all of your dragon units. So I will eventually get around to that, which will be good. But for the moment, painting this up, I've got a load of the general Stormcast units. So all of the basics from the first release. So that'll be the Liberators, Retributors, ones like that. Got all those units. I made a 2,000 point list of that. Then I've done one with, oh excuse me, the Vanguard lot, which are all their fast moving units, and was playing a game of them a while back, and so I knew this anyway, but I've preferred playing with the original models, just more challenging. And with the Vanguard ones, they just teleport all over the place. Because if you take the Lord Aquila, what you can do is with a command point, you can teleport a unit with them, or just a unit on their own. So having that ability of being able to just move unit as and when you want it, even if it's in combat. So if you got a unit that's in combat that's thinking, oh, that's taken a bit of damage, there's no one else near it, so you can afford to move it away, you can potentially draw your fights away and then open up the weak spots and teleport in. That's what that unit, that chamber of Stormcast is good for. The Vanguard lot. They're crossbows, hurricane crossbows and long shot crossbows. They can be quite deadly to use, especially the hurricane ones. I'll say that even though they're hitting and wounding on 4s. which you think, oh, that's not a lot, I can't see why that's great. It's mainly because if you stand still, well, they get 6 attacks as standard. But if you stand still, those 6 attacks turn into 9 attacks. And then they come in a unit of 3. So you're looking at, oh god, say 8 times 3, but no, 9 times 3, 27 attacks. So, no rend, 1 damage each, which, no rend. But it's one of those, you're chucking out all that many shots. Law of averages, you should get quite a few wounds through. I say quite a few, you get enough through anyway. But what I do is I run them in a block of 6. That way, end up with about 54 shots. 4s and 4s. I normally end up with about 20 shots going through. Or 20 shots. Which is a lot. Well, it needs to be, especially when you've got no rend. But then, most of those saves people will be making. But if you think, probably about half they'll probably won't make. Still make about 10 wounds going through. So it can be still quite handy to do. And I think they're about 180 points for 3 as well. So it does mean you are spending around 360 points on 6 models for ranged. 18-inch range as well, which isn't brilliant. But you can teleport those with the Lord Aquila ability on command trait. That makes them a little bit more frightening. Then at some point I'm going to be making an army with the Sacrosanct unlocked as well, the new, the latest Stormcast models I brought out. And the reason why I'm doing all this, buying all these Stormcasts, building them up, getting different ones made, is generally because, yes, Stormcast are the poster boys for AOS. But on the plus side as well, where you've got that many units, it makes it a lot more fun making lists for them, because you've got that many different options for them. You can build them and have them used for different uses, or different ways of playing. And as I work at a shop, obviously, does wargaming, if anyone comes down for a game, rather than always going, oh, because some people, they'll have a set list that they'll stick to. They'll deviate very little from how they build it up, or what they put in it, and how they play. With this, if I've got 3 different types, all from the same faction, it's a nice way for people to learn how to play it against different styles, whilst going up against the same people. And with teaching people how to play down as well, it means they don't get too bored playing the same army over and over again. So that's my reasoning behind behind getting the Stormcast. The only problem with that is it's a lot of models to paint. A lot of models. And I've done very little painting for them. Because it's my own stuff. Kind of happens when you work in a shop. You end up painting more things for the shop, for videos, than you do painting your own bits. So, as the New Year's coming up, my New Year's resolution to myself is to actually see about getting the rest of my Stormcast painted up. How am I going to paint that bit? There we go. Right, it's going to be a bit off angle a little bit, but I'm going to go paintbrush through there and paint that bit. Unfortunately, you won't see that bit because of the angle on that, so I do apologise. So you just get my hand painted funnily. That's one thing about these big models as well. Sometimes they can be very fiddly to paint. Ah, we have an RC Destroyer. Evening. Welcome. On the support. So, as I was saying, I'm going to be painting this up over the next coming weeks. I'll make sure I do videos for it as well. Next Sunday, going to be doing a nice little how-to on how to play Age of Sigmar. And that's generally because, well, I'm painting up something for Age of Sigmar. Why not do a video for it? You know, I know how to play it. And not only will we be doing a how-to, but we'll be doing it from the new gaming book. They've had it for a while now. So obviously they've had the core rule book out. And they had the General's Handbook out for a while now. But then realised that's a lot of stuff to go through, and you're constantly flicking through, page for page, trying to figure out how you actually play, and why bits are missing, and why you need to go through both books just to find out how to play. So they've released the AOS Age of Sigmar gaming book. Nice easy title, gaming book. And that's got your core rules, how to play, but it also has, I believe, 30 odd match play scenarios. Match play is generally the go-to for games to be played. So that's where you build your lists to certain criterias, like so many points in your basic troop choice, so many heroes, and so on and so forth. Building to a certain list pointage, and that's match play, gist of it. There is quick play, or just a non-match play. That is just, you take what team you want, do it to a rough cost, so you're not got one person too overpowered, and then play a nice friendly game of whatever you want. So the fact they got 30 different scenarios makes it a good book, So you're not always playing the same type of mission. Generally, what people tend to do is go, oh, let's play a game of Age of Sigmar or 40k. But okay, cool. Bring bits down. And they go, so, what are we doing? And you go, oh, well, we'll play and just be you kill me, I kill you. That's generally how it used to get played. There wasn't much to it, just kill the other opponent first. That's generally how it has been. They did release a while back campaign supplement for Age of Sigmar. I believe it was called Firestorm. And on that, you actually got a deck of cards that was used for generating random missions, random objectives. And they were quite good and quite useful until you realised those mission cards catered to a certain style and certain armies. So there were uneven matches, because you could just bring a nice bashy army, ones that does lot of damage, and there'll be quite a few missions that require you to get an objective, hold it, or to get an objective and take it somewhere. And if you've got a bashy army, generally it's slow moving. And a couple of factions are quite quick at movement and have abilities to get them across the board a lot quicker. Example, Stormcast and teleporting. Stormcast's got a few bits that allow them to put some units up in reserve and then teleport them down whenever you want. Well, I say whenever you want, whichever battle round, and at the end of the movement phase. That's how their teleportation will work. And then they've got a couple of other abilities, like I was saying earlier on. Lord Quiller, his hero phase, I think it was, he could move a unit. So for armies like that, it was tailored to. So it meant that before we even started the game, you would have a good idea whether you'd win or not, because you would have tailored your list to work for those cards, which would make it very fun for your opponent. But you got your win. So now they've got 30 odd scenarios, mission objectives and that lot, in the gaming book. So we'll be going through this on Sunday, and hopefully we'll make it a bit more balanced with how it plays and who's got a chance of winning. Now, with most things, when it comes to gaming, we all have those armies you see on the table, or you just hear the name and you'll go straight away, oof, I'm not going to win against that one because you brought that army. I've got no chance of beating it. So hopefully whenever you go through these new missions, it's not one of those, oh no, you've got that army, oh, I've got no chance. I'll be, I've still got a fighting chance here. Yeah, I'll see. That is dodgy. Me and Mace actually went through the cards because there were 12 different scenarios for your missions, objectives and that. And we went through them, different objectives, and we actually analysed these cards. Go, right, okay. So you had ones which was just hold an objective, that was generally, it was randomised where that objective would be. You get to it, you hold it. There were ones where you would need to go to that objective and bring it back. There were a couple of just seek out and destroys and kill the messenger as well, or the general ones as well. And looking at those, we noticed a slight trend. And that was, if you got units that can get there quickly, you can pretty much win the game. That's what it came down to, because holding an objective is quite easy in Age of Sigmar, but annoying at the same time as well. You just need to be 6 inches near the objective and you hold it. It's yours. But here's the fun part. It gets contested if there is more models, on the same amount of models, from the opponent near that objective as well. So example, you've got 1 model on the objective, it's yours. Someone comes along and goes, I'm going to stick my 1 model there. Now it's contested, so no one owns it and you've got to fight over it. So you could take an objective with a hero. Now, if, nice fun example, you get Archaon. He's on an objective, he's got a very big base, so chances are he might be the only model that can actually get onto that objective on your side. Now, if you had a unit of, let's see, something really small. Loon Curse. Not Loon Curse. What are the goblins called?
Gloomspite Gits.
Gloomspite Gits. You can have 2 of the Gits. Small guys. No chance of actually defeating Archaon. But as you've got two models that are close to the objective, as opposed to the 1 big model that was Archaon, your Grots, thank you. Your Grots would hold that objective. So it kind of makes sense, but doesn't at the same time. Because if you think about it this way, this is why I used Arcane example as well. Arcane is a huge model, boss hard, and you think if anything, if he's near anything, is going to contest it. But you've got these 2 little grots next to him, and as far as games rules concerned, it's now their objective. And you sat there thinking, well, what's the point of me having this big model? It means if I can't hold a simple objective against 2 little shits, basically. I'm just going to stop there for a second because I've got I'll see you there. That's mad, within reason, like maybe 2 Trogoths. Yeah, exactly. Two Trogoths against Arcane. You think, yeah, size-wise that makes more sense. But just 2 little models against Arcane, go, yeah mate, that's mine. Maybe they're thinking from the angle of, if you think Lord of the Rings, Smaug, and you had, I was going to say Frodo then, but no, it's completely wrong. Hobbit. Go on, what's his name? Bilbo. Ha! Maybe they're seeing from that side of things. The fact that a Bilbo is more able to sneak that objective away from a big bad guy. Bad bad guy. Maybe they're seeing it from that side of things, but gaming terms, no. Bilbo, yeah, thank you, RC. So they made little bits in there, so it makes it more challenging taking objectives. It just works out, if you got an army, example Skaven, or saying that, Grots as well, big units, cheap cost, just chuck a load of Skaven, a load of Grots onto an objective, they're going to be difficult to shift, and then they've got that objective. So that's slight annoyance there. But yeah, so that's what we found out. The lists were catering, well, not the list, the missions were catering to those that were good at having large number units for cheap, because that's what most games didn't have the one objective. It would have 3 or 4 objectives, so you'd have to split your army. If you've got a load of cheap units with multiple models in, then you know you can easily split up your army and hold down objectives. And that's what we found out. It was heavily catered to a certain game style and certain lists or armies. And I did mad because me and Mace, well, Mace was Khorne, I was Stormcast. So we noticed where both lists can be quite bashy. It worked out Khorne had potential to do the damage, because some of the scenarios were do a higher percentage on wounds than your opponent. Example, I have 100 wound list. That opponent would need to kill off at least 80% in wounds to win, which means he would have to kill 80 wounds, or do 80 wounds. Whereas he could have a higher wound count on these models, and I would have to do more. And it worked out very awkward with that, because where it was Khorne, you were allowed to summon, so you could get more models on, which means you could take more objectives, you could cause more wounds. The only bad side about that is you could take more wounds because you're bringing more models on that have wounds. Therefore, if he couldn't kill me, I'd have more potential to get a lot more wounds off him. And lists like that are just hard to combat when you're needing to kill off a certain amount and he needs to kill off a certain amount of yours. It just worked into, well, I'll just summon more stuff. Yes, it means you can kill more things, but I can kill you quicker before you can kill me because I'm bringing more to the table. So a couple of armies like that end up being catered to. Long story short, the scenario missions for Firestorm stopped being played after a while and stopped getting used. And that's because people found out that it was unbalanced. I managed to win one game in one turn, on the first turn. That's how bad it can get. and that was just because it was kill the messenger. So we spent about half hour setting up the table, randomly selecting the cards for the mission, getting it all chosen, then go, right, okay, kill the messenger, or I'll have this guy's my messenger, I'll have that he's one as that. And I go, right, first turn. And used a command point. I go, oh, I've got 6 hurricane crossbows. That means I can shoot at least 6 times with them. Well, each one 6 hits. What storm host? Ooh, not too sure, to be honest with you, what storm host. All I'm going for at the moment is painting up, because I don't like the idea of I'll paint up a certain style and then go, that's a storm host I will use and always use. So I've kind of gone for my own paint scheme and gone on the basis of I'll make a list, whatever I choose to make up list wise, that's a storm host it'll be for. But I have been using one at the moment. What's it called? This will cheat and bring up Battle Scribe. Okay, it's been updated, thank you. Advert, no, thank you very much. So, type that, so we can on a lead next. So, storm hosts, I've generally been using the Helden Hammer, so the anvils of the Helden Hammer. That was because with the command points, I was able to spend a command point on doing a shooting phase, a combat phase. I think there's something else. Another thing I could do, actually, I've got it on Battle Scribe, might as well bring it up, look at it. So, the Helden Hammer was allowing me to do, I can attack with all the missile weapons, make a pile-in move, attack of all its melee weapons it's armed with. So that was what I could do if I had a command point. Now, I had a couple of blisters, ballistars, and generally I run about 2 or 3, depending, because they can be quite fun to play with and a bit nasty. And then I'd have other units as well. And what I would do is I would have the hero, a Lord Ordinator, that would allow the blister to have a +1 to hit. So instead on a 5 it'll be a 4, rather than a 3 it'll be a 2, because the blisters has 2 types of shooting. One is you allowed 4 shots, but you hit on 5s. One of them is you allowed 1 shot, but you hit on a 3. So I'll get that +1, it makes it easy to shoot. With the blisters as well, the reason why I have 2 or 3 is because once you get a hit, that hit turns into D6 hits. And if I took that Storm Host, the hammers of Helden Hammer, I could do shooting in my hero phase and in the shooting phase. So I could end up with a lot of shots going off, which is a good way of getting rid of units and making most defences go bye-bye. So I've mainly been running with that But then as I've been changing things around, I've either not been using the Storm host or just trying different ones out. Ooh, Astral Templars. Very good choice. Well, you saying with the purplish ones, the way I am actually painting these up is obviously not this one in particular, but he will have some purple on the armour plates and green cloth. So it'll look a little bit similar to Astral Templars, but the base metal colour I'm just going to keep as a lead belcher. Although I might go for, I think it's Iron Breakers, which is the darker version of lead belcher. Might end up going for that. Or not might be going, I am going for that. That way it makes it nice and different, because I've seen the it's the Hammers of Sigmar. You've got the Hammers of Sigmar and they've got the box standard gold armour, and I'm not keen on that. And I looked at the others, well, you know, nice colouring, but something different. And when I first thought Stormcast, I thought rather than doing these up in these colours, I thought, you know what, with the washes and all that lot, if I do a lead belcher and chuck a null oil over, it gives it a nice dirty look. And then I like a bit of an idea of a worn army rather than brand new. Yes, I know Stormcast, once they die, they get reincarnated, brought back down, you continue fighting. But I like the idea of having them worn and old. So that's what I thought. I'm sorry, worn, old and cheap.
Sounds like me.
It does a bit, doesn't it? So that's why I've gone for lead belcher, a Balthazar gold trim, so it's a bit of a coppery gold. And that was most of it, then with the colours of purple and green, just to give it a bit more pizzazz. I did start it originally with a red for the cloth, because red was always an easy colour to make. I believe it was a cheap one as well to produce. Well, medieval times, I think red was a cheap colour to go for. So that was my idea for that. But then after a while, I didn't like the red. I've started repainting what models I did have for my Stormcast. So I do have some evocators fully painted up with the current paint scheme I'm going for, and I've got some retributors as well. Unfortunately, with the evocators, I put the Purity Seal Minotaur varnish. Yeah, the varnish on the models, and I didn't shake it properly, so they dusted. So some of the colours, well, quite a lot of the colours, didn't actually show up. But if you ever have that happen to your models, where you've put some varnish on and it clouds, a good way of getting rid of that clouded and bring the colour back up is to chuck a wash on top of it. Depending on what colours are underneath, depends what type of wash you want. I went for an Agrax earth to bring the colours back up. And you can still see it dusted a bit, it still dulled the colours a bit, but it was still enough to bring those colours back up that I wouldn't have to completely redo the models. So I was quite thankful for that. But it's coming out nice and dark, this. Quite liking it. Hopefully, well, we know what Space Marines look like. Space Marines! And it's the Space Marine colour I'll be using for the Underbelly. should go quite nicely with this. No, I've dipped my brush in way too much there. Boop. Probably still got way too much in there as well. Yep. But yeah, so my New Year's resolution is get my Stormcast painted up. Because I've got that much to do, it needs doing. It's not been done for ages. And we like a painted army, don't we? It's a lot better when you come down to a shop, you go, oh, I want to play this game. Yeah, I'll give you a game. And then they come out with nice painted army. Like, ah, yeah. It's better than the alternative of saying, oh, I couldn't give you a game. There's you with all your nicely painted models. Some of the works in the shop comes out and they've got grey plastic models.
I don't know what you mean.
Or cardboard. Or even the models still on the sprue.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It's the best form of wargaming.
Yeah. Don't know anyone that does that in this shop.
Not that thing.
See, that would have worked so much better if you didn't hesitate so much there, Matt. Could have been so much more believable. But yeah, so it's get these painted. Funny enough, haha, no RC, mine is not grey. Mine got lead belcher. Oh, 2 seconds. Matt?
Yeah?
It is the... Go on, dentist.
Yeah?
She's at the door.
Is she waving at us for us to come in or?
I have no idea. I just saw her then carried on going back to painting.
Oh. Fair enough.
But I think she's noticed we're kind of busy. Because, funny enough, it has gone past 9 o'clock on a Sunday evening. And the shop is actually closed. Because, obviously, doing a live video. How about that?
Why did I get the gold out?
So, general public who won't let her come in. But yeah, so all mine are based lead belcher. Now, considering I'm using... some contrast paints on it. Obviously on this, but I mean on my normal Stormcast as well. It does mean before I even paint that contrast on, I have to prep the model. So I've got to do a layer of grey sear, Corax white, Wraithbone. Not all in the same section, obviously, but I'll choose one of those, put that base paint on, and then put the contrast on. So that does slow down my painting process for these guys. But the effect at the end of it is still good. Because obviously I'm supposed to be painting these up quickly, but if I'm having to spray one colour, base, then contrast, I might as well just stick to normal base and layering. But I like the effect of contrast, so that's why I use it on my Stormcast. So, getting there. This is top part to do now. As I was saying, I don't need to be neat with this because I will be touching up. I want to be touching up as well, the state I'm doing some of these bits. So that is pretty much have it done. The only thing I do find annoying with this contrast paint is if you are painting big areas, you'll get so far with it, then you notice there's little white speckles on there of where you've put the paint on, but it's not gripped the model, it's not stayed on. So although I'm off camera for a couple of bits of this, all I'm doing now is just putting a little dab on all the white bits I can see, just so I make sure I get that full coverage. And obviously this normally takes about 45 minutes to dry. Thankfully, we've been live for an hour and 2 minutes. Which hopefully means the majority of this does look touch dry. Which means I'll be able to get away with the next bit that I want to do. A bit of colour in there, and there. Ah, that top is done. Now, could just leave them. So what I'll do, could just leave them like that. So I'll zoom out a little bit. So I could leave him like that. Just the darkness on there. So dark bits gone in recesses, there are shine light bits. But what I will do to that is add a bit of dry brushing just to lighten up the scales a bit. And the way we do that, I'll show you the neck piece. What I'm going to do, this is going to be slightly annoying. Sorry about the wobble there, guys. Change that wobble there, and up a bit. Go on, up we get, there we go. So, ta-da. There we go. Now, that's that bit. So let's see, love Stardrakes, but I've got a backlog to finish before I get my hands on. Yeah, well, thankfully I've had these for ages, so I don't have to wait for the backlog. It's just one of those, what do I want to paint today? And I've got a bit tired of painting troops, so I thought I'll go for this. So I've been a bit naughty and cheated. Should have done the troops first, then got on to big character models. But I thought as well, as it's come up to New Year, I'll treat you guys. Sorry. So for this end, we are going to do a bit of dry brushing. How about that? With that, we're going to get some Lothrin Blue and do a bit of dry brushing. So what I'll quickly do, I need a paint palette and I need a different brush than my regiment. I do have a large shade, but that's going to be a little bit too big for one on one, so I want a bit of a smaller dry brush. So bear with me 2 seconds. So I've got a brush in the bag. Not sure if I did pack one. Oh, drag on for that. So, got a paint palette. Got a nice dry brush from, say nice dry brush from that. Quite a used one. So I've got a dry brush. I've got any tea left. Yay. Oh, it's gone cold. Give it a shake. So there's a nice light blue to go over it. Make it pop a bit. Now, as I say, I am winging this a little bit with the colours I'm choosing. So this is either going to go really well or really not. So let's find out. Circular motions as always when it comes to dry brushing. Be really gentle as I can be. Alright, so lighting up the scales quite nicely actually. It's not been too much on. So I didn't want, it is doing what I want. Sometimes when I try dry brushing, I'll end up doing it way too much and heavy. This one it seems to be doing it just as I need it. You can probably see the colour changing there as I'm doing it. So move over that. So do a section here, see how well it goes. Still too much on there.
That is a mystery. Whatever it is, and two SU colours anyway, two statement colours. I can't find either of them. Mesh colour.
I will admit, I am being quite right-handed with this. Only because, like I was saying, I've done this quite a few times when I've gone a bit heavy with it and it's completely messed up the model. As you can see there, gone a bit heavy on that bit there and that bit there. Hopefully. Hello. Hi. You're alright there. Wow, you've sprayed all your paints with the gold lid and you're going through mine now.
I can't find what I'm looking for.
What are you looking for?
Staining black binge.
Skate. Oh, I've got one on mine.
Yeah, I just nicked it.
Ah, yeah. Well, you could have asked first. Yeah, take it. Kind of saying, yeah, take it as if I actually got a choice in the matter. He's taking it anyway.
I don't know if you walk off with it. He's like, yeah, you can take that, it's fine.
Yeah. It's like when you got those friends, and they do the same thing. Like you're going to have the last cookie, and they take it. Oh yeah, don't worry, it's right. I won't going to eat that. You know, you all got to be safe yourself, mate. Enjoy.
So, those some sort of organisation manual. Should have been here. Unless I haven't actually.
So, if you go on that angle, this is doing a little bit of dry brushing compared to that. Brings it up quite nicely. So, maybe that's looking all blow dry. Probably still got a little bit too much on that. Ah, too strong. Yeah, nice bit of pop there. I reckon I'm happy now. That'll do me quite nicely. Keep going through it quickly now. Rather than that huge bit, you just put a huge dab of light blue on. Yay. Got too confident. See, it's worked quite nice on the back bit there, because you've noticed, just bringing up a bit onto those tips there. A nice bit of definition that has. I'm liking that. That's what I show Matt and he just goes, no, it's rubbish. Do it again.
Too right.
There you go, see? And he can't even see yet and he's already saying that. See how much faith he has in my painting skills. I was saying this, I don't call myself one of these amazing painters. I can paint to a standard. I'll let you guys decide what standard that is. I can paint. So there we go. And then the top bit there. I think I'm quite happy with that. Could do a lighter colour, maybe a lighter blue. See about popping it a bit more. Let's have a look. Choices. So now I will have to put some more blue on this side, considering it's more heavier on that side. La 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 la.
To finish in the next couple of minutes here.
What's that?
I'm just talking about Matt's phone going off for a load of listings and on eBay.
So we'll call that done. Oh no, I've almost got the tip of the tail there. Got ya. Just these tidbits here that didn't get blued off. So there you go. The other thing as well, I'm fighting with myself. So obviously get this painted, do bits to it, but at the same time, not to overcomplicate it and put too much paint on, because I want to keep this an easy to paint thing. I don't want to spend ages painting it. I don't want to put that much into it, because it's not a Golden Dean thing I'm doing for, it's for my own personal use. As long as it looks nice and I'm happy with it, that's how it's going to be. So, from tabletop standard, that, I'll probably say, is good for the top. So contrast in it, is add a dry brush, that'll do for the moment. Now, what we'll do next is we've got Underbelly to do. Obviously there's a dark bit there. Oh yeah, completely missed that dark patch there, didn't I? Oh dear, all ducky. So that bit there is all scales, so I'll quickly do the scales bit there, and once I've done that, we shall leave it there for today. But come next week there'll be a video. That's the wrong brush again. Oh, why do I have two regiment brushes? Have a with you. So, as I was saying, when it comes to next week, I'll do the Underbelly. And then week after will be a different section. Week after that, a different section. And third one, and third, fourth. Get the red and blue up back on. Some people probably say, really, I should have done the Underbelly first. Considering when it comes to contrast, it's easy to go light than dark. Because if I paint ultramarines onto this. Any bits I've gone over, hopefully the Viadon blue. Ah, it won't show through properly, but if I was to do the Ultramarines blue, then the Viadon, I could cover up quite nicely any Ultramarine bits I've done. But hey, we'll live in that. Still keep to what I'm doing. Getting there. Other thing you've got to be careful with contrast paint is when you're handling it, it comes off a lot easier than normal paint. So you've got to make sure you're not too heavy-handed with it, because otherwise what will happen is you'll take all the paint off by the time you get round to doing the next lot. Which obviously no one wants really, do they? Just underneath a bit there.
Alright. Alright. Good. It's all right. That's what I'm really bothered about. I myself is good better than she's alright, she'll do. She'll do it for a while.
So, there's contrast on the underbelly. Just go wait for that to dry, then I can dry brush it. So, we'll leave that there for tonight, guys. So we've done the scales for the top. Next time you do see this though, I might have gotten around to it, but I will have tidied up these spikes. It's gone down and tidied up a little bit, because when it comes to doing the next video, you don't want to see me for about half hour just with the brushes touching up all the lines. But so far, part one, top it done. The scales. I'll take a quick picture, because what we'll do as well is we'll have that I'll do better that way.
All the ones we lost the other week. Probably. It appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, so take two pictures both sides there. That way it'll show its progression of when it started to when it finished. But there we are for the moment. Stick them in there. Scales done. Next week we'll have one doing the underbelly. Obviously with next Sunday we will be still doing the Age of Sigmar how to play. And what I'll do as well is I'll quickly change video angles whilst I'm talking about this. So quickly find you. And what I'll do, zoom back up. There we go. So, so we've got a good start done than me on my Caval's Death Riders. Ooh. Well, funny enough, the only reason why I've actually got a start on this is because I've kind of been pushed and forced, not exactly into this, but into painting, because we need to do a video each week. This is a nice excuse to get my stuff painted. But yeah, so next week we'll be doing the Underbelly, but we'll also be doing, like I said, the Age of Sigmar How to Play. What will more likely happen is we'll either do a YouTube video straight to YouTube for the rest of the painting ones, or we'll do another Twitch stream with the painting as well. If there is a case, watch this space, will give you timing wise. But for the moment, next Sunday is a nice little how-to on Age of Sigmar and how to play it. Then I'll post on our Facebook page as to when the next Stardrake painting video is. But thank you for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching. And when it comes to the YouTube part video of this, usual like and subscribe, comment, and we shall catch you later. Bye bye.